Okay, welcome back. I hope you're ready for some stamping. Now, we are going to make first, we're going to warm up with these two cards, very simple cards, and it's like a split card technique, and you get two cards from one piece of stamping. Okay, so these are the easiest ones, and we're not using any water for this, and we're not using any watercolour paper. So I'm going to take off my big stamp, and I'm going to take off both the leaves, and then I'll take off both the little flowers, and then you need there's a little, I'll show you on here, this little bit from the center, and then this dotty one. So you're going to use a lot of blocks today, and then of course I'm just going to use happy birthday today. Oh, actually, I'm going to do a get well soon, you know, because I never have a get well soon in, so I'm glad that there's a get well soon on there. And it's a really nice clear font. That's what I like about this one as well. So let me get my magnets off. Now, if you're using a Stamparatus, don't put your magnets near each other. Ask me how I know. Right. If you're using a block or something like a book, I'm going to just show you. Pretend this is my book. Well, it is a book. I'm not pretending it's a book. What you can do is you could put your stamp on the book. I'm not suggesting that you stamp with the book like that. What I'm suggesting is you could ink this up, yeah, and then lay your card on and press and sort of do it in reverse. That's a little alternative to using a big stamp, because when I used to do a lot of classes in person, a lot of my ladies didn't have the dexterity to hold a big block like that. So I used to get them to ink it up. So make sure it's a book, you're not bothered if you get a little bit of ink on it, and then lay the stamp or the paper over our card and rub it all over. So that's just a little alternative for you, but we're not going to do that, because we're going to use the stamp. I'm going to use my Stamparatus, or you're going to use your block. So we don't need our small stamps for now, because we're going to concentrate firstly on, on our big stamp. Now, what I'm wanting to do, I am wanting to have this stamp in the middle, and I've got one already done to show you. I want it to be like that in the middle, yeah? Because then I'm just going to cut it down the middle, okay? So I'm looking by the rack of my eye that the distance from there to there is similar, there to there. I mean, I could be really, you know, pedantic and measure. That's 5.5. How are my eyes? And that's about 5.7. So I've not done too bad. Let me move it a millimetre. So what I can do now is I can just pop my magnet there and there, and what I've done is this stamp is the way that it would be stamping down, you know, it's the rubber image is facing on, but it's clean, so it's not putting any ink on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Stamparatus and press it so it picks up in theory, and this is where you see if I've cleaned it or not. I have. There's nothing on there. And then I'm going to move that back. Hopefully you can see. And yeah, the stamps do stain. Now, what happens with this is it sort of goes on a slant. If you're using a Stamparatus, it goes on a slant. And what you can do as a top tip is if you put your stamp set underneath it, it actually levels it out. So if you are using a block, you can use your block and then you can stamp down. But I would use your mat underneath. If you were doing the book thing, do it the way that I showed you with the rubbing it from the back. So I'm going to take Seaside Spray first, and I'm going to ink all over. Now this is quite a juicy one. I'm going to ink all over, and I love this blue, and this is one of the ink colours that will be leaving us in May. So I've inked all over. And then I'm going to quickly, because it's not going to dry really fast that, but I'm going to take my Night of Navy and my Dauber, on my finger. And I'm going to dip it in there, and I'm going to just rub it around the centre. And some of them you can go a bit further into the petals. It doesn't have to be the same, because not every flower in the garden is the same. They're all different shapes and sizes, just like humans. So then I'm going to move that over there and press down. Now, if you have got a Stamparatus, then I hope you love it. And the great thing about this is, if I lift this up, well, when I lift it up, if it's not stamped, I can go back down and do it again, you see, because it's in the right way. And there I've got my lovely stamped image. Yep. You can see I've not gone too mad with the navy. Okay, whilst the navy pad is open, I'm going to take that little dotty stamp. Now, one thing I do need to say, and I forgot to say this on my welcome video, these videos were filmed in advance, and I've took the wrong stamp out of the box. And the box is under here. I didn't take the dotty one out. Why didn't anyone tell me? It's this bigger one here. These are filmed in advance for a number of reasons. Because if I do them live on a Saturday, it means I've got to have like quiet in the house while I'm doing them. And that's not really fair, and it's difficult because I'm working from home. So I get to control my environment a little bit more. Also, I do have a couple of customers who are deaf, and if I do them live, they can't get the closed captions because YouTube cannot translate me live. There's not someone at YouTube there behind the scenes translating for me. So once I film this video tonight, I'll be uploading it to YouTube, and it will process the video for me, and it will then enable the captions to be available on the video for my customers, which really worked well and helped them last Saturday. And also, because I filmed it in advance, you can't pause a live. If I was live, you can't pause me and rewind. On this video, you can, and this is really what I wanted to talk about. So you can, at the bottom of the screen, you can press pause, and you can drag the cursor on the red line back. And if you missed something, then you can have a listen again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the dots and I'm just going to stamp them. The great thing about this stamp, it's sort of a messy design. It's not a very structured flower. Okay. Are flowers structured? Well, they're just nature, aren't they? But so it's, if you go a bit off piste, I think it's in keeping with the design. So I'm just like my customers. I'm thinking, am I making it the same as, am I doing it the same as the one that I did before? So I do need to still use my navy, so I'm just going to keep it to one side. I'm hoping I've done you more than 4 of each things. I might have done you 6 of each, and I might have just remembered wrong. I'm hoping so. Anyway, if I've done you less, I apologise, and I maybe owe you a gem or 2. So I'm now going to take the smaller flowers, and they are similar but different. One's a little bit closed, so it fits in a smaller gap, and one's a little bit more open. And I'm going to take the mango. Now, when I first got this, I thought, oh, that's a bit... I'm not a massive orange and yellow fan. And I thought, oh, it's a bit much, it's a bit much. But I think with this it works because it makes them really fresh. Really, really fresh. So I'm going to take one of them and just stamp it in here. That's the sort of closed up one. Probably going to stamp one in there. Just in the gaps, you know, where the flowers meet. Like that. And like that, okay? I'm not getting too worked up about it. They are supposed to look watercoloured, this design. It is called a distinctive stamp. So now I'm going to take that really small dot and my Night of Navy, and I'm going to stamp it. So apologise, you might need to start rewinding it at this point, because, I mean, this is the basic form of Stampin' Up! Crafting. We're using stamps, ink, and paper or card. My American friends tend to call card paper, so they say stamps, ink, and paper, but to us it's card. So I finished with that little dot, and I'm just going to pop it safely, take it off, and those spots. I'm going to take those off, and look, you're going to get filthy with navy ink, but my pyjama bottoms are navy, so I can just rub it off on those. And I'm going to take my leaf stamps now. Now the Granny Apple Green is a very, very bright green. If you're using Old Olive, I might have a practice if I were you and stamp off maybe once, especially if it's quite a new juicy ink. I don't mind. I prefer the smaller leaf on this, so I might be inclined to use this one more. So I'm just going to stamp one there like that. It's quite dark, this. And stamp one here and another one like that. Yeah. And then let me have a think. So I might stamp this other one there, and I'm going to do it like in the opposite corner, and there, and then here I'm going to do one there, and then two here. So I've sort of done opposites. If you work like, you know, like 10 past and 20 to 1 o'clock, I hope that makes sense. I try and say things like that make sense to people. My son was asking me how much, for example, I've got him some Body Shop stuff for his skin because he's struggling, and he asked me how much, and I said about a 5p size. And he said, that's really specific. And I said, yeah, but you know what I mean if I say 5p size. Straight away. Oh no, I've just stuck my just stuck my magnets together that I told you not to do. Right, I've now actually finished, and I've hopefully talked long enough for you to catch up. But if not, don't worry. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to do a little bit of cutting. Okie dokie. I'm fast running out of room here. So I'm going to take my trimmer. Now this piece of card is 21 centimetres across. So I'm putting it in that way, and I'm going to cut it at 10.5. And then that will be the middle. So look, I've got one side, one way like that, and I can have the other one like that, or I could even have one like that. So I've got my two cards. Now, we now need to cut these down, because if you remember, we've got the mats and layers for them. One's a seaside that we need, and one's a Night of Navy that we need. These measure 9.5 by 13.8, and I will type that in. You don't need to know that now because I've cut them, but if you're making them again, you need to know it. So we need to cut these. You do need to know the measurements for these. 9 by 13.3. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut off some of the white. We don't want to cut it off here, off our lovely stamping. So we're going to put 9 there and cut. Now I'm thinking my get well soon is going to be too long to go across there, but I've got an ingenious plan if it is. So I'm going to cut my other one at 9 as well. Okay, We've got 2 little strips of spare card. Don't use it all at once. And now we need to cut this down about half a centimetre from each end, because it's 14 point, no, actually a bit more. It's 14.8 and we need to take it down to 13.3. So I'd probably, if you go down to 14 first, yep, and then flip it and go to 13.3, then it should be fairly equal. Yep. Let me just check. Oh, I've dropped one on the floor. Yep, that looks all right to me. If it's not, you can always cut a little bit more off, but you can't add it on. So we're going to take this down to 14. And then the next one down to 13.3. And there we have our 2 designs. Okay, so we now need to work out what we're going to do to decorate them. I feel like I might need to cut a bit of a slither off this. So I'm going to use my mini trimmer. Just a slither. Yeah, that's better. So that could go like that. And then that can go like that. Now. I've not glued them yet. But what I'm going to do is, I've got this Get Well Soon, and I'm going to see if it fits. Now it does, but it's a bit low there. But hey presto, it fits in there, further up. So I'm going to use it there, all right? So these ones can bend. If you put them on yourself, you can bend them. So what I do is I lay it down on my workstation with it face down as the way I would be stamping it. And then I pop my block on to pick it up. Yeah? Another top tip for you. And if you're wanting to send this in the post, I wouldn't put the gems on, because sometimes they can take it over the large letter. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stamp it where it just came in a little bit. Like that. Love that. Get one's on. Now, what was I going to do for the other one? Happy birthday. Now that's a bit of a squeeze. What you could do is, you could do one this way if you wanted to. Look at that. Should we have a bit of that? I think so, don't you? Let's have one that way. I'm going to anyway. So I'm going to pick up the happy birthday. I film these videos and I think, gosh, I talked a lot. Oh, gosh, I was quite funny tonight. I'm still laughing inside at Grab a Granny. That's a bit wonky, but, you know, it's a lovely handmade card for someone. Just check your hands. Mine are covered in, especially if you're going to be popping those foam pads on. Not foam pads, those gems on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere that onto my Night of Navy. I'm going to pop that on there. I have to say, I did get the idea for this card and this colour combo from the lovely Patty Bennett from USA. And then I'm going to take my Seaside Spray card, and it's going to be a 10-fold card. It's going to open like that, is this one. And I'm going to glue that on. can stick that down, and I'm nearly done. I'll just set that to one side, and I'll do, oh, I do love this one. That just looks nice with those colours and not with the navy card base. Do love this colour combo, and I'm going to miss this blue. Do you know what might look nice? I wonder if you put it onto a seaside spray card base, you'd see the matte and layer. No, it sort of gets lost a little bit, but it's nice. But let's do it on the navy one that it was intended to go on. So I love doing these videos because now I've ended up making double cards. So now I've got plenty of birthday cards, plenty of cards that I need. But also what I do is, I've now started, when I send my gifts out to customers who shop online and use my code, I send them just a random, oh, I've not scored that one very well. I send them a random card and say that they can repurpose it. So I'll send them a little note in with it. And it's not necessarily, I used to sit and make thank you cards, but I just don't have time now. So I give them a card that I've made and I put a little note on and I say, and it's blank inside, and I say, please feel free to repurpose this card. So I've not got enough gems. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put them on this card here. And I'm hoping I've given you enough. Please tell me off virtually if I haven't. I will tell myself off too. So I have to be careful because I'm getting busy with these kits and things, which is great. But I have got to be careful not to make. I made a couple of faux pas and forgot things. And I've just lost a gem. Yeah, I made a couple of faux pas and forgot things. Which, you know, when you're sending out a lot of parcels now, which I'm really lucky to be doing, then I'm only human, I suppose. But I am hard on myself. Anyway, 2 cards done with the split cards technique. So they were my 2. Feel free to post them on social media and tag me in. Tag the Paper Haven in. Instagram, Facebook, if you're in my customer Facebook group, that would be lovely. Let me see what time I'm on. 23 minutes. So this means if I started that other video at 15:15, it's probably going to be, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the next video at probably in about, I'm just trying to work it out now. So I've been 25 minutes with the 2-minute intro. That was at 15:15. So I'll do it at 2:45. Anyway, so if you have a speedy crafter, you can crack on. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed those, and I'll see you shortly.